might make your head blow off.
Hey, yo, it's a talk show host, Kaynah Lassiter. Join me for an episode of Relations, the most lit hour of adult conversation.
Hold up, you know you can't forget about me. It's 51 Spade, Alpha Male G-O-D, one half of Relations. You wanna hear the truth? Can you handle the truth? It's where it's at, baby. It's where it's at, baby.
What's good, and welcome to an episode of Relations. My name is Kaynah Lassiter.
It's your boy, 51 Spade, Alpha Male G-O-D, the ninja you love to hate. I'm in the building.
Yeah, we got two exciting topics tonight. You know how we do it. The first one is cheating wives. Why did you do it? And who busted you? We want to know all of it. And the second topic is sexual incompatibility. Sexual incompatibility. I think we'll start with sexual incompatibility first because it's fun. I think the cheating wives will probably take us all the way to the end of the show because we had a lot of people really chime in on that specific topic. Actually, wives. So I'm really excited to get to that. But let's talk about sexual incompatibility and why it actually ended up as a topic here on Relations. Start us out, Alpha Male.
Ladies first.
Well, it was your topic. I wanted to know why sexual incompatibility would be something that we would need to talk about. I think that it came up because we maybe listed it as one of the reasons why relationships actually fail, or
I don't know what you're talking about.
Not fail, or leads to other things like cheating and stuff like that. I think you did say that. You was like, well, sexual incompatibility leads to other things.
No. It's a woman. You got it wrong again. Here we go again. No, the reason it came up is because I was looking at a podcast and a woman called in and said, like, I'm dealing with this dude and he has a big dick. This is the reason why this came up. And the woman, one of the podcasters said that, you know, what have you tried to kind of get you past that? She said it was very painful, but she really liked the dude. She had been going with the dude for like 6 months, and now she's just attached to it. But she was just like, his dick is entirely too big. So she was like, well, did you try lube? Did you try more foreplay? There are things that can kind of probably get you past it, and she was trying to give those type of things. Mm-hmm. But at the same point in time, she said that if you try some of those things and those things don't work, you might not be sexually compatible
with this person,
with that person. Now, she's 6 months in. And my thing is, you 6 months in and she was trying to, I guess, thug it out. But my thing is, like, you've been having a problem with this from day 1, day 2, day 7, week 3. And now we 6 months in. And now you just not realizing you got incompatibility. But that's a woman thing, because you done roll for 7 months or 6 months. So.
I was going to say that. Here we go again with me having to explain how you're brought up. Like, little girls are told and beaten in the head that sex is not everything. Sex is not love. So you can't judge a person off sex. You can't have a relationship based on sex. So when you get into a situation where the person that you're involved with has filled every check space, it's like yes, 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 yes. And then it comes down to the sex and it's like, no. You can't ignore everything else that was a yes. Not in a day, sometimes not in 3 weeks, sometimes not in 3 months, sometimes not in 7. It takes a minute for you to say to yourself, okay, I'm just not happy and I can't get past it. But you have to give it a shot based on your belief system, based on how you were raised, based on valuing another person past their penis. Just based on basic human decency, if I'm sleeping with somebody for the first time and it doesn't work out in my favor, then just based on being a decent human being, I'm not going to ghost that person because the dick wasn't good, especially if they were polite, charming, smart, conversational, and everything else was in common.
Gotcha. Which leads me to, this is why some women cheat. You know, because now that you done rolled this 6 months and you were raised this way for it not to deal about sex, and you ignore some of the major red flags, you find yourself now masturbating heavily at night. You start looking at the man now like, I just could have did better. You have some of these things that kind of come into play. And I'm not even blaming women, because sometimes it happens like that for men. I think one of the biggest things that we have now is we just lie to ourselves. We create this lie in our head to make it think that it's gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I see even men that be with women and they whole other chick is like night and day of the woman that they chose. And then when they explain to people, if they do give an explanation of, well, why are you cheating with that one? Well, at home I don't really get that. At home I don't get this. At home I don't get that. But that means that the woman that's with you, either A, she don't know, or y'all not sexually compatible, and you rolled it all the way out, and then you have a catastrophe that's later on down the line that I'm not taking away from what you're saying, but that's where it's going to lead. That's where it's going to go all the time. Like, even hearing you talk about that, I'm not taking away from it, but it still led to the same things that made you angry, mad, upset at this person, led to sex. Damn what your fucking parents say. It ain't all about sex, but it leads to sex about you, because that's what you angry about. I'm not getting fucked right, and I'm supposed to let you borrow my car. I ain't getting fucked right, but I'm supposed to pay this or pay that. I'm not getting fucked house. You gonna notice him on the couch an awful lot more than you ever notice,
because you're not getting
that he on the coat, that he on the couch. So you're gonna say to yourself, we're not sexually compatible. And I don't want to base this just on sex. What I'm saying is, like, you have to be real with yourself, and I don't think people be real with themselves. I feel like you get in those relationships and you just want it to work out. You like this guy and you just want it to work out, but you ignore those signs.
Because
Abba.
I feel like bad sex isn't a red flag, or it isn't one of the red flags that we start off really looking for. There are other red flags that we're looking for. You know, does this person have an addiction issue? Does this person maybe like men? We're looking for more pressing things other than whether they, are going to be able to get
that too. That's a good one
us
too.
off tonight. But get me off tonight. But I'm going to say this. I agree with what you're saying, but we can only change how things are discussed with our spouses and even our children now going forward that we're having the conversation. I do think sex is a big enough thing. It's an important thing, an important part of a relationship. So I'm trying to figure out now, how can that be untaught, that sex isn't that important and sex holds no value, and you shouldn't want people based on sex or relationships based on sex, because all those things sound like the right thing to say. But in hindsight, now knowing, sitting here as a full-grown woman, how important sex is and how much I myself value sex and how much I put sex on a relationship, I feel like now I was done some disservice by being taught what I was taught, because it is important. Every woman, every parental figure, everybody that wanted to see me do well was always convinced, me and siblings, cousins, other girls that I knew. That's something that our parents taught us, that, you don't want a guy to just want you for sex. So in return, why would I just want a guy for sex? I don't want you to want me for sex, and I don't want to want you just for sex. And that's almost a signal that needs to be sent out telepathically between two people or verbally before they can even move on, because you want to get that out of the way. I ain't sleeping with you on the first night. I hope you know I got a 90 rule. It just seems to come up in the first beginning. Well, I can come over there, but I ain't smashing. It comes up still now today. It comes up with the new women you talk to or the men you're talking to. You kind of want to somehow send out a signal that it ain't going down like that. I just met you. And that comes from the way that we have been groomed as young ladies. I wish we could undo that, but you can only undo some stuff later. And I think this is the beginning of the undoing. I'm not saying don't teach your kids that sex doesn't hold that much value, but I'm saying teach your kids that sex holds value. It's just in a way that it needs to be delivered. I don't have children, so I don't even know a way that I could communicate what I just said in a way that would make sense.
That's sad. Me listening to that, Only thing I could really think of, even while you was talking, I was thinking to myself, damn, that's really fucking sad. And especially the idea that you were listening to a bunch of women. I find like that hinders a lot of women a lot of times when you have like a bunch of women that grew up in like a woman household, and then you start lining them up. Some of them aren't married, or some of them are just angry, and then they trying to convince you of some shit that they're trying to get, which is sex. Because
I think they want love.
That's cool, but you can have love and sex. You understand? Like the thing about it is like when I'm listening here and you talk about it, it was kind of, though what I'm talking, what you just said just now, it's like just because you're bringing up sex, why doesn't other things go with it? Because when you're talking about like how to unteach some of the shit, how to unteach some of it is stop putting it in one dimensional just segues. Like I get that sex isn't the main thing that makes the component of a relationship work, but it also is, you know what I'm saying, within the same swoop. Because when you look at people that's unhappy, that's cheating, they come out divorces or anything, the very first thing they bring up is, well, the sex was fucking horrible. Like, I didn't like fucking my husband. Like, it's one of the very first things that come out. Or the men be like, man, that bitch couldn't get head to save her life. Like, giving me head with a pillow on the side and shit like that. It's be like one of the things that mainly always come up. So let's just think for a second, like, if that was in the play, could it have made a significant amount of impact? And I think because you're looking at it saying, well, I don't want the person to want me to sex, but I want love. But love can come with sex. They don't have to be separated. But at the same point in time, you also have to look at it this way. It's competitive as fuck out here. I don't give a fuck like what you thinking. Like, you think some of these girls getting their body done because sex don't matter? You think like women are looking at other women and be like, well, I could be 200 pounds and someone's gonna want to slay me. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, this is what it is. A great example is Cardi. Cardi B is a great example of that. She got criticized for doing WAP. Her and Megan, both of them. And she like, if I was rapping about politics, y'all wouldn't get no fuck. I wouldn't sell no records, this and that. People are in the closet freaks and then act like that's not what it is. Yeah. Like, half of the TV shows deal with sex. Music deals with sex. Movies deal with sex. Mm-hmm. Like, they throw it in because the world deal with sex. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And if you lacking in that area, or you're not compatible with the person that you with, who you gonna lose because of sex is your partner. Like, it just is what it is. Like, when you have, let's say you in the house, if you upstairs masturbating and your man is downstairs masturbating,
there's a problem. Because you both can get each other off.
But y'all both like sex.
And it deserves its own topic. There's a breakdown in communication, starting from the parent all the way up through high school to these relationships that we get in, and now we don't want all the value to be sexually. So the communication is just off from get-go. But I get where a mommy would take her daughter and say, you're more than your vagina, and you are more than your breast. Mm-hmm. And when a man talks to you, he shouldn't have his eyes on either one of those.
Let me ask you a question. What do you feel about the women who raise their daughters to be trophy wives, and they give them away, tell them to basically, listen, you gotta.
I think that there's a thin line. I think that there should be. There isn't a thin line, but I think there should be a thin line between, hey, sex isn't everything, and hey, what you got is worth $1 million. You're walking around with $1 million in your pants, and you can have anything you want. I think there should be a healthy medium on both of those lessons. I wouldn't down all those mothers. They're setting their kids up for the real world. In the house, we love you for more than your vagina and your breasts. But out there, that's exactly what they're going to love you for. And you need to use that for your advantage, because I can't send you out so eager and with so much hope to change the world. I love that about you, but it's not going to happen. You can't change everybody. You can only control your own situation. So let me send you out with a full deck of cards and a toolbox and empower you with the information that your vagina means the world to everybody out there. So this is the way you handle that. And that's not what's happening. I still haven't been able to have that conversation with my mother. Mm-hmm. And I'm in my 40s.
Because y'all, I think, like I said, is women, y'all lie to yourselves. You ever watch a bunch of guys that's around? We don't hide our sexuality from other guys. Like, we love pussy. And when we around each other, we talk about pussy. Mm-hmm. And when you in the locker room, we talk about pussy. And when we see a whole bunch of women, we talk about pussy.
But do you talk about pussy when you're on the phone with your dad? And did you talk about pussy when you went home from school with your dad? That's what would make you a strong, managed individual.
It's different stages in that. You can't talk to your dad while you're 17, 16, because it's going to become an inappropriate thing. Because if a dad is being really real, it's like, we can't talk about that, son. Like, you know what I'm saying? Be fucking. But the flip side of that is, I hate to go here, but I will go there. There is a part in time is a dad when you want acknowledgement that your son isn't gay, or does he like women, or this and that, and then you kind of want to know, is he a chip off the old block? Like, I didn't give it to him, but do you got what I got in me to go get these women? And the first time he be like, he got his nuts wet, you do some bullshit. You be like, did you strap up? You know what I'm saying? Was you using protections and that? And then you walk through this whole bullshit of like some birds and bees bullshit. Mm-hmm. And then you go in the other room with your girl and be like, hey, I told you that nigga was like me. You know what I'm saying? He knocked it out the park. But you ain't gonna tell him that. Right. You feel me? You might not even say.
But I think that's a disservice. That's what I'm saying. I think that is in some way a disservice to our children.
But it's to children. Now, is an adult where you can fully fledged have sex. Yes, you can't have that conversation. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. You can't have them conversations when you over 18, 21 and have those type of conversations with your dad. Hey, what is it like this? What do you like? Now, I am saying some of those conversations go down, you know what I'm saying? And you might not even go that way. You like, someone might not ask their dad, like, how you get a threesome jumping? You know what I'm saying? Right. Because it's going to go into just a sex world. Right. You know what I'm saying? Now, is a dad going to complain about that? I don't think so. It might be a little uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But with women have this thing about them. It's like they want to be a hoe, but they don't want to be labeled as a hoe. They want to do hoe shit, but they don't want to be looked at that way. So women tell every woman the same line of bullshit. Don't get that pussy up too fast. He's going to respect you more if you don't do that. They all tell a bunch of these lies to other women that get them left in the dust. And then by the time they realize that it is about sex, you done spent so much time trying to keep it back that now you playing catch up, and your man that you lost, you like, damn, I lost him because Becky give head?
Yeah. I mean, when I think of sexual incompatibility to myself, in what situation, I sat here during this time and I'm thinking, in what situation would I be involved with somebody and break that involvement off? What would make me do that quickly?
What would you do?
What would make me break off of ties with somebody that I felt like I was sexually incompatible with? Mm-hmm. It would have to be an extreme incompatibility. Kind of like he pulls down his pants and it looked like his dick should be attached to Charlie Brown. That would be a problem.
I don't even know if that makes sense. But
well, it probably doesn't. What I'm trying to say
Charlie got a big dick?
No, that's what I'm saying. If he pulled down his pants and it looked like his dick should be attached to Charlie Brown, that would mean he's small. And that would mean that I'm probably going to find my way out of that situation. And I'm only saying this now that I've said it out loud. I've actually done this to someone. Mm-hmm. I was in college and there was this guy. I worked at the pet store and he worked at a shoe store called Oshman's that was right across. And we would flirt daily. And finally he made it to the crib. And finally I got to see what he was working with. And I was just like, oh, that ain't going to work. So I may have told a couple of white lies I backed my way out of that. So I kept it from going forward because I looked at his penis and knew that ain't gonna work. So that would be a time when
he was too small.
He was way too small. I didn't even want to. I was turned off, and he was already a big gentleman. So you a big dude, and then you got a small dick. That don't work.
But how did you know it wasn't going to work without it? Without you actually doing it?
Well, I didn't know, and I wasn't willing to find out because I felt like this based on his size, we were sexually. I may have, but for me, based on the size of his penis, I thought to myself, "We're going to be sexually."
What's the average size? What's the average size of a dick?
I feel like average is average is about 7 inches, right on the money.
7 inches.
7.
That is incorrect. The average size of a dick is actually 6.
Okay.
And if you put that on an average man, I think I'm a big man. See the size of my hands, so everybody see that. 5 ain't in the domains of this shit right here. That's probably this.
Right.
That's probably that right
inches,
there.
Yeah.
And I could stick this in your pussy right now and make you come. But I'm trying to show you something. Like, you ran from something, and I'm not saying that. It's just like, what tripped me out about this shit right here is like, women often say what they can't do. Like, not even trying it. And it's like a catch-22 for y'all sexual experience in men. It's like, women say, well, I don't want a big dick. So, you'll look at someone small and say, hey, that won't work. But then you'll look at someone big and say, that won't work either. But you'll try the big dick, but won't try the small dick. This is my confusing shit that I'm trying to understand. Because in both scenarios, you say, that won't work. But the small guy, you ran off. But the big dick, you'll try. Stretched. Okay. That shit is crazy.
It is. I mean, I'm not finished with running you because I certainly rather try a big dick before I ever try a small one. So I can't disagree with you.
So you rather be in a wheelchair than walking right? Got you. It's like this shit is like bananas, man. That's why I said like some of y'all choice factors, because the reason I'm bringing that in is because that is what the chick was talking about on the show. She was like, I'm dealing with this dude. His dick is not what I'm used to. It's entirely too big, but I want to stay with him. And she's trying to figure out a way to stay with this big dick that she can't handle.
I feel bad for her.
You know what I'm saying? But even on the show, the girl said, well, when you having sex with someone, and let's just say it's for the first time, you haven't really got to some of the sexual places that you can actually get to with a person. So the reason I'm not, even though I gave that example, is what I'm saying is like, you didn't even really give him the opportunity to get to some of those sexual places. I mean, he could have ate your pussy. He probably
He did. I let him do that.
But oh my goodness.
That's what he could do, but he definitely could not stick it in.
See what I'm saying? Like, this shit is like super nuts, but sex ain't everything. You understand what I'm saying? Like, this shit is like so far gone down like Alice in Wonderland hole. Like, this shit be making like no type of sense. So you let him eat the pussy, but I already saw his dick, but knew you wasn't gonna let him fuck, but let him eat the pussy. Am I getting anywhere close to this right?
Yeah.
Oh, I got this exactly right.
Yeah.
Okay. But the person you look at with a big dick, you still saying that won't work, but he can fuck. Now my question is why?
I feel like my chances on coming are greater with the bigger dick than my chances of coming with the smaller one. And my chances are 100% if he ate me out, so I'm good.
But how do you know? But my question is, have you tried a dick his size before?
Nope.
So how would you know it couldn't have made you come?
I didn't want to know if it would make me come. I don't want to imagine someone falling in
If he fall in, that means you too big.
No, that means he's too small.
No, that means that you might be too big. That might be that you.
But if he's already small and I know I'm bigger than that, I mean, he was really small.
But you never tried it, so that means you automatically saying that he gonna fall in. So at the end of the day, you might need to get yourself checked out. That means that you working with a little bit more than what you think you got.
It's not true.
Black hole anyway?
It's not true. That's not what that's not even at all what I'm trying to insinuate.
I'm not saying you trying to insinuate that. Of course you're not going to try to insinuate the black hole. What I'm saying is that's what's going on. Because my thing is like this. If you really felt like you were small, I'm just going out on a limb here. If you really felt like you was small, there's like women that I know that be like, a tampon hurt me. I don't like doing shit like that. So you see a dick that's like smaller, but you naturally was like, well, nah, he gonna fall in this. But that means that you're thinking about yourself.
No, I'm just thinking about that's not gonna fill me up. I like girth.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say.
I like girth, and so if you can look at a dick and say, I've seen skinny dicks that I wouldn't fuck, long and skinny that I'm like.
But when you saw when you saw it, was it hard or was it big? I mean, was it hard or was it soft?
Hard and skinny. Yes, it was already hard, erect, and it was skinny, and that's no girth. It's not gonna do nothing for me. I don't want somebody to just poke my fucking uterus. Like, fill me up, hit my size.
But how is he gonna do that? You haven't even gave him a go.
I'm good on the go. I'm good.
I got you.
I started off saying that I would want to spend time with somebody because I would want them to know you are more than your dick to me. Mm. But I did have that happen where I looked, and based on the way they looked, I just felt like I wouldn't have been pleased. Mm. So I just didn't take that chance.
So was you pleased? So was you pleased with the big dick?
Eventually. The biggest dick I had, I was not pleased with it. The largest man that I've ever been with, it was very painful. I was not into it. Never went back and did it. He got it one time, never got it again. I didn't even get wet. Okay. It was just unenjoyable.
So the person with the big dick got a shot.
Yes, he got a shot.
And then the person with the little dick didn't get a shot.
Yeah. But the person with the big dick I had more history with. So that had a lot
to do with it. But did you come?
No.
Okay. Because that, at the end of the day, you said that what I'm going for is the fact that I can come. So even though you went the bigger route, you still ended up with no coming in a body.
That's true.
And this is the problem that I had with a lot of women a lot of times, because women think that body counts and all this shit don't matter because y'all making these irrational decisions.
Did you just say irrational?
Yes. Irrational. Well, I mean, I can't call it anything but irrational because I'm like, it's not making any sense to me that you would try a big dick that didn't make you come, but won't try a small dick to make you come.
I can explain that, but it's not gonna make any sense to you. I said I had.
It don't make no sense to nobody.
The person with the big dick, it wasn't about convincing me to have sex with his dick. It was convincing me to have sex with him. I wanted to have sex with him. It was not about his dick, but his dick happened to be just too big and too uncomfortable. But I had sex with him. For him.
Mm. But his dick is him.
His dick is not him.
No,
because if
do you know men?
Because I'm saying is I didn't like him. I've known how big this man's dick is for a long time. I've never wanted to be with him.
But one day, this is when you laughed and said irrational. But one day, you made an irrational decision, since you called it that, and said that, well, because I known him and I wanted to fuck him, that I'm gonna try this, even though you know that y'all are not sexually compatible.
And we weren't. And I knew that.
Exactly. And then you know you're not sexually compatible, but try it anyway, and then throw away a friendship, getting to know the however many years that y'all known each other in the whole nine, put yourself in a situation, another body, and got nothing out of it and didn't even come.
That's true. I mean, if you're gonna put it like that, then knowing that
there ain't
you're
no other way to put it.
But I made two. But the thing is I did the same thing in the little dick situation. I made a good choice. I felt like we were sexually incompatible. I should have done the same thing in the big dick situation, saying, okay, we're sexually incompatible. I just didn't make the right choice the second time, but I didn't make the right choice based on me knowing the person, kind of like the podcast you were listening to. I liked him. She felt the same way. I like this guy. His dick is too big. It's really uncomfortable, but I like him. I was in that same headspace. I like him. He's a really good person. I like him. Even knowing that this is going to hurt me. We're sexually incompatible because I knew he had a big dick. I stayed away from his big dick all this time. But I just like him. And that made me try it. But that is also saying to someone, I value you more than your dick. If I would have said, you know what, I like everything about you, but I can't fuck you because your dick is too big. That, I think that is traumatic to somebody. Well, goddamn, I check all the boxes, but you won't fuck with me because my dick is too big. Just like the guy that's going to say, hey, I checked all the boxes, but you won't be with me because my dick is too small. Both of those are bad. Both of those don't feel good to even say. I'll be honest about that.
But you still did the same thing because you fucked him, and then after the fact was like, well, your dick was too big. Because I'm quite sure that y'all had a conversation about it. So it still comes back to him saying,
I am my dick.
Thank you. And what did I say beforehand?
He is his dick.
See how simple this shit is, women? Like, send all your requests to spadeperry@gmail.com. I will give every answer that y'all are looking for when you need honest answers. This is not bullshit. Not saying that you gave bullshit. I'm just saying you gave your reason, and I'm not saying that those reasons are wrong. I'm just trying to show you that if your parent or your mom and them would have been like, listen, it's about sex. You know what I'm saying? You might have came to a little bit closer grips that this shit boiled down to sex to make shit go. To make, relationships go and go further in relationships and make shit go. Because the one standing still, even though you liked him, what stopped you was the sex. Because y'all are sexually incompatible. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So don't just grab another body just because. You know what I'm saying? And even with her, I feel like 6 months in, they were trying to give her ways to get around it. You know what I'm saying? Hey, sometimes when dicks are big, it's the friction that's kind of making, saying that part probably more sore. Won't you not be scared to say, hey, let's get some lube. Let's do a little bit more foreplay. Because that's another thing, too. When you get a little bit more into people, you're going to do more shit than you actually will do. Like, I don't think women just get with dudes and be like, let me suck your dick. You know what I'm saying? On the first night or y'all first encounter. I'm not saying they don't do it. I'm saying they don't give you their best. You know what I'm saying? On the first night. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not expecting the best head that you give on the first night.
Right.
I feel you gonna hold back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you gonna get to the Cookie Monster syndrome.
Right. After I've known you a year and now I want to eat your balls.
Not a year. Not a year. I ain't say nothing like that. I'm talking about 2-3 weeks down the line.
2-3 weeks?
Yeah.
God dang.
Yeah. You're gonna start getting you're gonna start getting best at you're gonna start getting your best at later on because you're getting more comfortable with the person.
Yeah, of course.
So you're not gonna necessarily be eating pussy on the first time that you see him and all that type of shit. Like, you ain't gonna just bring out your nasty meter. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna hold that back, hopefully, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't jump off of dressers the first night I meet them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I save that for 2-3 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Then I jump off the dresser. So that's really how it goes sometimes. So I feel like they were trying to talk to her and convince her that even though you having that type of pain, have y'all started doing some of these other things that would make it not as painful. And even though they were 6 months in, it seemed like it was like bing, like, yeah, I haven't tried the lube, I haven't tried the, butter his balls or whatever the case may be. Like, she hadn't done any of that shit.
Right. She hasn't given it the old, full college try. And neither have cheating wives, so to speak. What happened to make you cheat? And how did they find out? And I use that segue because usually when you talk about a person that has cheated, whether it's the man or the woman, you always ask the question, what did you try? Did you try to fix it before you exited the relationship? And what did you do? Did you try new things? Did you go to counseling? I posed this question on social media about cheating wives. And I'm going to read some of the comments. I think a portion of this conversation is really going to come from one of the young ladies that commented, who has actually been married and has actually cheated on her husband. The relationship has now has been resolved, so they're not together anymore. But she was really, really open about what happened. This was the question that I posted in our Facebook relations group. If you are not a part of the group, send me a request. I'll invite you in. It's kind of where we discuss topics before they become topics. I want to talk about cheating wives. Why did you do it? Did you make love to your husband often, or were you in a sexless marriage? And how do you deal with the stigma behind being a woman who cheated on a man rather than the common conundrum of husband cheats on wife? This should be interesting. And it is interesting because most of the time you do hear stories about cheating, but it's about the man cheating on the woman. Our first comment was, I don't think women would be honest about cheating if they did. So let's just tackle that first. Are we hearing a lot of dialect between women and men, or women and women, or men among themselves about cheating women? Or being a wife that cheats?
In the last segment, I brought up a point where I said that women don't like to be looked at as hoes, doing hoe shit, or doing any of the above. So I don't really feel that women would ever admit to cheating, even if they caught dead to rights. The problem with that is it puts them on this lower pedestal where they have to be looked at as like, oh damn, you cheated? You know what I'm saying? Because it's more expected for men. Mm-hmm. So no woman is gonna just outright be like, I cheated. And when they are caught dead to rights, they start, in the last segue of the show, what I was saying was they start moving goalposts. I was already out of that marriage. I already wasn't mentally invested into it. He already had cheated on me. Like, none of this shit has nothing to do with you cheating. Like, every excuse that you giving right now of why you did it is not the thing. It's you cheated. Not if your husband cheated. Not if you was mentally checked out. Not if he wasn't doing this.
But these are all reasons why I did ask, why did you do it? This particular commenter says, my experience came at the end of an emotional exhaustion and my husband not giving a fuck. There are so many stigmas, double standards when it comes to men and women that I could care less what they are. Sex had very little to do with my reasons. It was 100% about the lack of support, respect, and appreciation. Which is what you're saying. You're saying, oh, now they're coming up with ways to justify. But these are the questions that I asked. What pushed you that direction? If someone has total disregard and disrespect for you, I'm assuming that the sexual connection is going to be lost. You're not going to be attracted to somebody who disrespects you. You're not going to be attracted to somebody who doesn't appreciate you. So you're going to very rarely probably end up in a situation where sex is even a possibility. So if you're in a sexless marriage, that's why I ask, are you in a sexless marriage? In most cases, disrespect leads to no sex. Disappreciation leads to no sex. So you end up having attractions for other people. I can totally see where you can fall out of a friendship and a mutual respect for your spouse, and that will allow you to let someone infiltrate. Disrespect? So I'm at home and you calling me bitch, you won't help me clean up nothing, you like, bitch, fuck you. Of course I'm talking to Larry at work, because Larry tells me I smell good, and Larry's being kind to me, and Larry bought lunch, or Larry pulled out my chair. I can go home with my husband, he calls me a bitch and doesn't say 2 words for me, but I go to work and I'm treated like a queen. That's gonna create an atmosphere for cheating. And I think the strongest woman might fall victim to that.
Sounds good. My thing is, if you're out of love and you're out of this space where you don't look at your significant other is giving you respect, you don't like them, you despise them, just get a divorce, man. Like, my issue is not really the reasoning of say, hey, stay in this marriage because you getting disrespected and shit like that. My thing is, Why are we in this motherfucker lying to each other? That's my issue. My issue is if you done with me, bitch, be done. Be gone. You know what I'm saying? Don't be in the house with me doing no shit or no shit like that. Since we talking about women, that's my thing. Because they're going to say, but I don't classify it as cheating. That's my issue. Cheating is cheating. I don't give a fuck about the fucking reasoning. The reasons of what you're talking about doesn't clarify whether it's cheating or not. Just because you mentally checked out don't mean it ain't what it is. Like, I can't go into a store and give somebody $1 bill and say it's $100 bill. They gonna say it's $1 bill. You can't do that. So cheating is what it is. Whatever excuses that you giving or whatever the case may be, that's fine. And this is for women that's saying, I don't consider it cheating. That's my issue. The ones that own up to it, I'm cool with that. If you be like, yeah, I cheated on his ass. He was punching me upside my head and he was doing all this type of shit and he was fucking everybody else and I said, fuck that shit, I'm going to cheating. Not, well, I was in an emotional place and I just wasn't receiving support and I wasn't doing this and that. And you turn around and say it wasn't cheating? That's what I have a problem with, because that is cheating. I don't give a fuck what he doing. If you want to leave, then take your ass out the door. Nothing stopping you. Ain't nothing stopping you from sitting on that dick over there. Then take you and the rest of your shit and go over to Larry's house.
Right. Just go
Let
ahead.
him hook up your cable.
Real shit. I'm there. Now, I did ask her, I said, thanks for sharing. I'm definitely reading this comment on the show. Does he know? Or did he find out? Her answer was he did find out. He sensed something was off after a while, but we were on the way out of our marriage. Mm-hmm. At the time, he took little responsibility for his part and why our relationship was where it was. I'm not a cheater at my core. And if I was emotionally checked in and interested in saving what we had, I would have never cheated.
Gotcha.
Not excusing what I did because it was wrong, but I was so tired of being disregarded. To give context, I was working a full-time job, getting my master's degree, nursing our newborn baby daughter, and taking care of house things. He went to work and did close to nothing else related to our household other than typical man duties. I talked and I pleaded until I was blue in the face, and although promises were made, they were not kept. At this point, I felt that this was an active rather than passive disregard or disrespect. He was actively disrespecting her. He wasn't even passive about it. Mm-hmm. He actively just chose not to participate in their marriage. Mm-hmm.
I mean, I would have to know more details into what she considering disrespectful. Because I keep hearing you say that word disrespectful, but my thing is, I'm just going to show you something. When you were reading that, I'm listening to you talk about it. But the thing that she said that kind of threw me off the most was he worked and he did like man duty. Like, he did like man duty shit, but nothing else for the household. But I don't know what the fuck that means. Like, he ain't on the couch, and he ain't, and it's not like he playing video games all day and he's not doing nothing. So he's actually going out to work, what a man is supposed to do, making money. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck is he doing what is he supposed to do when he come home? Like, I'm lost on that. So I guess
because we're not inside the marriage, but I can imagine that. I mean, if I can take the most minor thing, if I'm taking my own situation, there are probably things I would like to have happening after a full day of work. And the house is alive and we're home. We want to cook together. Do we want to walk the dog together? Sit on the couch and watch TV? It's called being present. Mm. And I think a lot of times, I'm so glad that I brought that up because it deserves its own topic. Being present is just like, you don't even have to do anything to be present. You just have to be there in mind and spirit and in body and be paying attention to the other person in the room. That's all that we basically are asking. When you're checked out, when you're not present, a person can be talking to you and that person cannot repeat what you just asked them. When you're checked out, you may have left the person sit in the room and turned off the light. But a person is in the room reading the book. You didn't realize I was reading the book before you turned the light off? Like, you're checked out. You're walking around like a zombie. You are walking around like you live here by yourself. And I think sometimes routine. Sometimes it's not that you're not in love with your spouse. Sometimes that you just fell into your own routine. And you're so used to being around this person that you feel like it's okay to just do you. And you are checked into you, and you're not checked in with the person. You're not present. And that is a very hard thing for women to combat, because it's almost about complaining about nothing. It's like, he's home, but he's on the video game. But bitch, he's home, but he's on the video game. So he's not present. He's on the video game. That means he's focused on the video game. He's not focused on me. He is not present, because I've been talking to him for 3 hours and he hasn't answered one question or gave me eye contact. So those type of things are hard to find yourself to complain about, because when you call your homegirl and you're like, girl, I can't stand this nigga, he getting on my nerves. Girl, what is he doing? Girl, he been at home all day on the video game. The girl on the other line might be, well, shit, I ain't seen my nigga in 2 days because he hustling. So you lucky your nigga home. So it's just one of those things. It's kind of like a thin line about being a nagger. I only put myself in that situation because I'm trying to figure out what she means by disrespect and disregard. All I could think of is someone being totally checked out and just not being present, if I wanted to relate to it in some way.
Or we can go another route, and you're gonna love this route. Also, when I was listening to you tell the shit she said, and correct me if I'm wrong, she said that she was in school.
Yeah, she was getting her master's and working full time.
A lot of times, and this is crazy because we just came off of this segue into this shit, is when sex is absent, you ain't gonna get no man to pay attention to shit. What is he paying attention to? See, the thing with women a lot of times is they think that them being in books, and I'm a PhD and I'm in school, they can go hard and study as hard as they want to be, but study as hard as they want for that shit, but won't study they man the same way. Men are not complicated human beings. Like we're not though. Like if an astrologist or somebody dug us up right now and they'll be like, look at this man right here. He looks like he like pussy and to eat and to have fun. Now, this ain't no complicated shit, because if he dug the women up, he gonna be like, now this is a confusing creature right here. You know what I'm saying? There's no telling what this person was into. You know what I'm saying? But men are not like that. So if you put a man in a situation with a woman that's like, I'm studying for my master's. I'm in school. I ain't got time to do that. I can't be your mama. I can't pick up behind you. I can't do all this type of shit. So then her idea of disrespect become, because she's studying to be in school and she got a bunch of shit on her plate, it's the fucking man's fault. You understand what I'm saying? And then she won't do her due diligence as far as like just being a woman, because she trying to get a PhD or whatever it is that she's trying to elevate herself. But she won't put the exact same amount of work into her husband, where he done said, well, look, I sacrificed for you to be married. You wanted to be married. You wanted to be my wife. And now I get this bullshit of priority. Now I'm not, if they got kids, go like this with men, and it's simple. Kids, before kids, man number one. After kid, he get knocked down a peg. Then if they have a job, it's the kids, the job, then him. Now if you add school into the mix, it's now
the kids, the job, the school.
Yeah. And then if you add religion into the mix, he's knocked down even fucking further. Yeah. So, with that fucking being said, I don't think that household would be happy at all. So, I would be enlightened on what he was doing, because what she said was, well, he was working and he was going to work and he ain't sitting on no couch and he ain't playing no video games and none of that shit. He lacked man duties at the house. What the fuck is man duties at the house? Is what I'm trying to fucking figure out. What is he doing that's so disrespectful? Or was that shit just you? But you found some way to get some dick somewhere else. So you wasn't fucking like your homeboy. I mean, you wasn't fucking your husband at the house. You was finding ways to study and find out how disrespectful his ass was and then go suck some dick somewhere else. That's what you going to do. So I can't buy unless I know some other shit, because I ain't heard nothing about no abuse. I keep hearing this word disrespect. But I'm trying to figure out, like, what is disrespectful if he working, bringing home shit, and you talking about, well, I'm studying and I'm feeling like it's not a connection and all this type of shit. Then do your job and be a wife and find out what the problem is and study your man just as hard as you were studying hitting them books.
Right. I did ask if there was a way that it could be fixed. He said the circumstances, situations, feelings, emotions that caused the end of our marriage actually happened before the cheating. So the cheating was just kind of the last thing she did to put the nail in the coffin.
Of course.
But it was already over. Mm-hmm. My question now would be the stigma following. And because I'm kind of at a point where I'm reading what she read and I'm almost in defense mode for her. I want to defend her. Hey, she felt disrespected. She felt disregarded. He wasn't present. I am defending all of those things because I know how those things feel. On the same token,
and I'm not taking anything away. I just don't know what it is.
Right.
It's too vague.
Right. But on the same token, now I'm like, you're a cheater.
Yeah. And that's
so I can't.
That's the only thing that I was saying from get go. It's not the problem that, she's having issues. I would be more than delighted to be like, you felt disrespected. What was he doing that was disrespectful? He was doing A, B, C, D. You couldn't fix that because why? But at the end of the day, you cheated, and you're married. So my thing is, you're supposed to be just as devoted to your husband as you are to your school. Right. You understand? So somewhere in the line, some fucking translation was lost. And with men, unfortunately, men are very internal creatures. And when shit start not going our way, we start not giving a fuck. Oh, you want to go to school? Oh, you don't want to acknowledge me? Then cool. Fuck it. Mm-hmm. We start doing shit like that. Cool. Don't worry about it. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll get my own food. Oh, don't worry about it. I'll fix my own plate, I guess. I just married you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to turn resentful on a man's standpoint. I'm not saying it's right. It's what I'm saying is, if you're studying your man, you'll start to recognize some of that shit. Like, he don't like when I come in late like that. Or if I'm going to be at school, that I leave him a plate. You know what I'm saying? But don't have him in the motherfucker coming home from work and be like, what the fuck, no food? No nothing? Not even a note? Not even a call? Look, I can't get there. I'll just order something for you. I apologize, this and that. Like, it's ways to work on shit. But if you acting like you don't give a fuck, he gonna act like he don't give a fuck either. Yeah.
And I think I've met people who have actually been in divorce and talking to both parties. They both regretted divorce. They both don't want to be in a divorce. But both of them have said too much and done too much to even go back. Yeah.
And cheating is definitely one of those. Mm-hmm. And when she said, I'm not a cheater at core.
Yeah. And I felt bad because she's still going to face that
she's
stigma.
Still living that lie is what my issue is. Like,
wait, before you make the comment, I want you to think about what she said a little slower. I'm not a cheater at my core, meaning she does not look at herself in the mirror and say to herself, you are someone who cheats on your husband.
That's cool.
And I would believe her because I know her. Mm-hmm. But I do know how the world works. Mm-hmm. And there's a stigma that's going to follow her if people know that she...
Ain't no fucking stigma, man. I'm going to break this down as simple as fucking plain as it can go. It's like this. You can go your whole life being in church. I'm just going to give you just a good example. You can give your whole life going to church. You could be, on the holy path, the whole nine. If you're on the holy path, you have no intentions of killing nobody. If that motherfucker go out right now and run over somebody by mistake, the mother is not going to say, you're not a killer. She's going to say, you killed my son. And that makes him a what? It's not, he ain't no killer at core.
No, but he's still a murderer.
But he still murdered someone.
Yeah. It's true.
They don't get no simpler than that. So don't tell me you ain't no fucking cheater at core. I do this, man.
Oh, whatever. I get it. I get what you're saying. It is what it is. And that's why I posed the questions about the stigma and the dirty the double standard that will follow around a woman. The double standard, not the dirty standard. New word. Because unlike her, I knew someone who cheated on their husband, and I had a big problem with her cheating on her husband. I mean,
because you weren't married, right?
I was not married at the time.
That's
thought that I looked at her marriage and thought, oh my God, you're so lucky. You have everything I want. Mm-hmm. And when I found out she was cheating, I'm like, why are you doing this? And then when she showed me who she was cheating with, I'm like, he's not going to offer you and to give you the same setup that your husband, he's not even thinking about giving you that type of setup. Mm-hmm. So why are you doing that? So because I had that type of disdain about cheating, when she told me that she cheated, I'm like, wow. I did not look at her differently, but it does not change the fact that she cheated. So why is the stigma that way? I know this girl.
The stigma is that way is because I feel like when men cheat, they hold men accountable. Like there's no wiggle room for a man. If a man cheated, he gotta say, I cheated. If he get on the fucking stand, he gotta say, I cheated. Mm-hmm. But with women, it's like, well, I'm not a cheater at court. That was an entanglement. I was already out of the relationship. Like, women don't just say I cheated. Like, that's the problem. It's not that it's a double standard. It's like they have problems admitting that they fucking cheated, man. It's not hard. Just say I cheated. I made a mistake. We all human beings. We make mistakes. But just say you cheated. Don't be fucking telling me, well, I was halfway out. My foot was halfway out. I was not emotionally into the shit. Are you divorced? No. Has the papers been signed? No. So when you fill out the paperwork, are you still married or are you single? You're married. So you cheated.
Period. I get it. I definitely get where you're coming from. And like I said, I had that same feeling, but since I knew her and I believed that she was totally disregarded and disrespected, I had some empathy. However, I did not have empathy for the girl that cheated, that couldn't show me why. She couldn't say, I'm cheating because of this. I feel her saying, Kaynah, I cheated because A, B, and C. And those reasons are only valid to me because I can relate to them. I know how it feels to be disrespected. Gotcha. I know how it feels to be disregarded. So I have empathy for people who are disrespected and disregarded.
But if you was married, what would it take for you to cheat? This is just plain Jane question. You're married. What would it take for you to cheat? That you consider why?
Because I don't believe in cheating. And I don't believe in breaking that type of marriage vow.
Okay. But someone that tells you that they would disrespect it, you giving them the pass.
It's not a pass. It's empathy. It's empathetic. It's not a pass. It's just that I don't feel like she should be labeled with the scarlet letter. I think my friend who cheated on her husband for nothing should be labeled with the scarlet letter because that's someone who just cheats.
Of course.
She just likes dick. Mm-hmm. This woman was hurt, disrespected, and disregarded and ended up in a bad situation.
I don't know if she a Christian woman or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, she got in front of God and said, do better or worse. And the thing about that shit is sometimes it's worse. It ain't always going to be good. So if you got...
I think it's worse a lot.
That's cool, but you signed up for that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, you signed up for it. So if you decided to get married and it got bad and you just checked out, I'm saying check out all the way. Mm-hmm. Just go ahead and sign the papers. Goodbye. Pack your shit. Just move on out and go with Larry. And let him hook up your Katie. That's all I'm saying.
So you just saying admit to
yes. Yeah, like my thing is like just admit. Don't be trying to give me don't be trying to move the goalposts and wiggle around talking about, well, I'm not a cheater at core. And like nobody is nothing at core sometimes when it comes to certain circumstances. Mm. But things come up and it makes you who you are. So guess what? Now that she cheated that one time, it'll be easier for her to cheat again and again and again and again because she already knocked the first one out.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Comfortable with it. I'm good with that. I'm going to read a tap in. You guys know what tap in is. It's when you have a question, you get to write in at spadeperry@gmail.com and ask him a question. This particular question comes from a male again. We had a male last week. I got to find some female ones.
Uh-oh.
This one says, I give my girl head all the time, but she doesn't give me head as often. She does an amazing job, but she doesn't do it enough. Sometimes I want to break up because of that. What should I do? So this is good because goes with our sexual compatibility conversation. I'm going to go personal on this.
Go ahead.
I like to give head.
Most women do.
A lot. Like, a lot. I am not in a relationship with someone who likes to give me head as much as I like to give him head. This is not a deal breaker because just because I like to do something doesn't mean that his like is equivalent. I think he may do it because he knows it pleases me, but it doesn't mean he has to like doing it all the time. I think this speaks to the conversation that we had about sexual incompatibility. If you're getting to a place in your mind where you mentally are thinking you don't want to be with this person because they don't suck your dick enough, then yeah, you need to have the conversation because the breakup thing is coming up, and only because it's coming up. I'm in a situation where I don't get it as much, but never in the back of my mind is like, you know what? I don't get my coochie eaten enough. It's not that serious to me. If it is that serious to you, where you want to end your relationship, then what you should do is sit down with that person and just say, hey, I'm not getting enough of this, and this is what I need in order to feel fulfilled. Because in most cases, if you don't get that from her, you're gonna get it somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. I can second that. My only thing is, and I'm not sure, I'm gonna play a little devil's advocate. Sometimes when you on the brink about to break up with someone, that means you done found out some shit that you don't like, that don't make sense to you, and it don't measure up. So for instance, like if you find out that your girl is a head hunter, and like you said, she likes sucking dick, and she like doing those type of things, like, but she won't suck your dick, it's gonna make you feel
break you
a certain way. You know, like, well, you was sucking your ex-boyfriend dick all the time. All the stories I've heard, you was in the car giving head and upside down giving head, and you know what I'm saying, giving head and triangle style, sitting style and everything else. But I got to beg for head. You get what I'm saying? And that's gonna make you look at her different, and be like, so why in the fuck you not sucking my dick? And that can lead to that scenario of, I want to break up with this chick, because it's like, and most people think that if you start giving, you start doing a better job of giving them head, it's gonna get received. I would say you gotta confront that shit head on.
Yeah, definitely.
And you gotta be like, look, man, I need some more throat action. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need you to get, like, I want to be touched. You know what I'm saying? And you'll find out the real deal, because y'all can get to that conversation of why she don't give head, or she might be like, your balls is killing me. Like, I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, it might be a reason she actually not down there.
Maybe
and
it don't smell good.
Yeah, and then that nigga can get some of that Irish Spring. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying?
And I think that's why conversations are really important to have for everybody. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because you can fix it. You're one conversation away, potentially, from fixing the issue. One conversation away that you could have, or one conversation away from watching us, right? All you have to do is tune in. We can do the talking for you. We're here every single Friday at 8 p.m. My name is Kaynah Lassiter, and you can find me on Facebook, Twitter, and IG under Kaynah Lassiter.
Hey, you can find your boy on both platforms, Twitter and IG. Hey, I want to make sure y'all subscribe to the YouTube channel. We always have them in the link in the Relations Facebook group. On the IG, hit the links in the bio. And when you ever see me post, just hit that link and you get full episodes like this every Friday, 8 p.m. Join the watch party. We answer questions. And for tap-ins, hit me up at spadeperry@gmail.com, and I'll answer those questions. You're looking for the shirts, you already know what it is. It's alphamalegodcreations.com. And like I always say about this time,